Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am doing my January plan with me, and I am so excited to be putting this out into the world so that you guys can see it. I have missed doing my bullet journal so much, but I'm also really excited for these new little challenges that I'm going to throw myself into. As you can see, have chosen a different medium this year. I went with markers in 2018 and I took a break from my bullet journal in 2019, but this year I'm doing gouache, and not all of them will have it. I'm not going to say that every single one will be a painting or something along the lines of that. I could do markers and gouache, or just gouache, or maybe just the markers. I don't really know, so it really just depends on what I'm feeling. I am really treating this bullet journal to be more of a journal than a planner. I will use it as a planner, but I do want to incorporate a lot more personal things to me and how kind of I will be going through my year and treating it like a yearbook per se. So I did want everybody to kind of know that it's not just my planner, it's going to be everything. So you are going to see kind of a different side of it than what I did in 2018, if you're here from 2018. So yes, this is my little painting. I'll use this in my title page, which I'll actually switch my title page. Normally I would do it on my right side of my journal, but this year I'm doing it on my left, which I don't know if I like it. I'm just trying new things out. I don't want to keep the same repetitive thing over and over again. For some people that works, for others it doesn't. For me, it got very repetitive not last year. I keep saying last year, but it's not last year. I'm sorry. It got very repetitive 2 years ago, and I did kind of get annoyed by it. So I do want to venture out. Maybe I'll do one side on one and one on the other. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see. So I did start on my left, but this little painting is a gouache painting, and just so you'll know, this is very inexpensive paint. And I did two paintings. I did my first one for my title page, and then I did this kind of big one for all the little accents that I was going to do. My idea was, and this is where I got my inspiration from, I was watching on YouTube Bob Ross paintings, and he did one where he does it in a circle, and he has tape where he basically draws only within that circle. And then he peels it off and he starts putting trees in front as if they were coming out from outside of the circle. And you'd really have to understand and look at it in order for you to kind of see it if you haven't seen a Bob Ross painting. But that's where my idea came from. And I was going to do it very geometric, like he had within a circle or a diamond or a square. And I decided to kind of play with the Art Deco theme that everybody's kind of playing with, you know, the 1920s. So we're in the 20s now, and a lot of people are doing Art Deco. So I did very linear things with a little bit of Art Deco. I didn't want it to be overwhelming because Art Deco can be very overwhelming because it is so much pattern. The one thing that I did get from the year before last was that I was doing a lot in my bullet journal, and it became so tedious that I didn't want to do it towards the end. So I realized that I needed to kind of slow down and not fill it up with so much. But anyways, now moving on through my bullet journal setup, I just wanted to give you guys a glance of what I actually did. Nothing big, nothing new. I will tell you, my calligraphy has suffered a bit. I haven't done it for almost over a year, so I will have to practice this because it is not where I need it to be right now. But moving on to my January bullet spread, I, as you can see, have the title really big. I did Art Deco-ish. I wouldn't say it's very Art Deco. It really all just depends. There were many different styles during the 1920s, but I went with this very linear side, and I did mess up a couple of times, but I didn't really pay attention to much of it. I kind of did that off camera, and I did fix it, I think, before I did my flip through. But as you can see, I'm putting in my little painting in here, and then I did a little border around it that kind of, you could say, went along with the Art Deco theme. A lot of it is just very small Art Deco. It's not massive. I didn't incorporate any gold or anything of the sort. I kind of wanted just the theme of it and the color to be in the paintings that I had actually done. And then on the right, of course, I included my little quote, which I wrote: "Sunrise, guide my day, sunshine on my life, show me the way." which I really love. And I hope that I did create that and that nobody else did. But nevertheless, it's there. I didn't find it anywhere else. I'm pretty sure that I did create it myself, but you never know. So many great ideas come to all of us at some point. So moving along with my pine trees, I started to do these. I was only going to do them on the left side of the bullet journal just because that's where I wanted them. But then I made the mistake of closing my bullet journal. Don't ask me why I did it. And it messed up the right side. So I kind of just followed the pattern along, and I tried to make my mistake into a happy accident, as Bob Ross would say. And I made more trees towards the right side of it. And I know that probably you're thinking it's not Christmas time, but for me, I guess because I live in Texas, we have pine cones every moment of every day and every year. So I do have a lot of pine trees around me, and during the winter, they're the ones that kind of live the longest. So I kind of drew that into winter, you could say. So the sunrise and the pine trees kind of shadowed by that sunrise. So that is my idea behind it. And then I moved along to my monthly spread. My monthly spread is a bit different from what I've done before. Normally I would do the whole calendar looking one where I could see it within each square. This year I'm kind of changing it up. I don't know if I'll go back to that. I might, but for now I decided to do this more lateral, you could say, or no, not horizontal, vertical, excuse me. Vertical one on the right, and then have the actual planner on the left, but smaller, just so I'll know that the days are correct and I have a visual interpretation of what the weeks will look like. So it's just a different way. I got very bored of doing the same thing over and over and over again. I am not a repetitive person. I like change. And sometimes that depends on what I'm doing. But that's the beauty of a bullet journal, is that you can change everything. So if something doesn't work for you, change it. I decided to do this. Maybe you'll want to actually do a whole planner with the 31 boxes. You know, that's completely up to you. I decided to kind of go differently, or maybe I'll include it later. I don't know. I will be doing weekly videos, so I might just incorporate it in later. I really don't know. I'm kind of going as I'm feeling with this bullet journal and how I want to treat it. I don't want to rush into anything. I want to make sure that it works with me so that you can be inspired to choose something that works for you, or maybe get some ideas for your bullet journal. And I don't want it to be overwhelming for me like it was in 2018. So, yep, as you saw, that was my weekly, actually no, it wasn't my weekly, it was my monthly, excuse me, my monthly planner. I wanted it to keep it simple so I could see everything, and then I just did the accents with the pine trees in the front. And then I moved ahead with my tracker and my mood tracker, and I don't know if I'm going to be keeping these. I'm going to give it a try for this month. I think in 2018, one of the things I learned is that I did not like using these at all. And then maybe they're not for me. There were one or two that I did use, but I did use my mood tracker a lot more. I think what I'm going to start including is a period tracker, because that is something that I have to deal with every month, and I would like to include that and make sure that I have that. But I don't know where I'm going to put that, because it makes more sense to actually put it in the setup rather than each month, because it only happens once a month. So I don't know if I'm going to keep these trackers, but you never know. I might end up using them, but from history, I haven't. So I just want to make sure that I actually do everything that I need to. But anyways, I did the mood tracker over here, and I'm doing it like a sunrise. So I'm doing like a, what do you call these? I think I called them something specific in one of my first videos when I named these trackers. It's called like a spreading tracker, basically. So the longer the line that I create, the better of a mood I'm in. The shorter it is, the worse of a mood I'm in. So I did that kind of going through the circumference of the semicircle, and I will fill that up as my mood kind of goes. I hope they're all long, but you never know. And then I did my title. Now, my title did not go as planned. I don't even want to talk about it. For some reason, my titles were just not they're just not good. I will say it. Maybe it's because it's been a year, but I'm not proud of my titles. They're not what I expected. But nevertheless, it's there. I have to make some fails, not everything is perfect. So I decided to cover it up, and then I decided to do not moon, excuse me. And it still didn't center. So I just tried to fix it the best I could. I didn't want to wait too long, and I did these little designs on the side, and then I moved on because I felt like if I kept playing with it, I was going to make it worse. Sometimes you just kind of need to let things go in order for you to reevaluate, and then maybe later I'll go back and I'll fix it and I'll tell you guys about it later. So next page is my weekly one. And by the way, when you are painting in your book, please be sure that it is dry. Don't make my mistake. Please don't. But anyways, this is my weekly spread. And I started it with a Wednesday and I went into Sunday because I like to start my weekly planners on a Monday. And that just kind of sums up my week Sunday. So I wanted to start it from the 1st through the 5th. I did not start it on I think 30th is what Monday is, just because I wanted it to just be 2020. Didn't want to incorporate any of 2019 in it. And it was perfect. I did this little sunrise coming out from the back of these pine trees. And I did these little lines, which kind of reminded me of Art Deco. I did use my favorite pastel pens and just the gouache, really. I will never let go of these favorite pastel pens. I love them so much just because you can overline them with the Uniball pen and correct any mistakes. So that's kind of a lifesaver for me because I make mistakes. I'm human. And then I went ahead and I did all of my days. And I did these massive numbers just because I wanted to keep it very simple and straightforward. And this is my bullet journal. I hope you guys like it. I know it is nothing like what I've done before, but that's the whole point, that, every single year is different and I'm going to venture out and try new things. I hope you guys have a lovely January, and I will see you guys next Saturday. Bye.